Okay, so we're going to go over the last theorem for 12-3, which talks about the measure of our angle formed by a tangent and a chord is half the measure of the intercepted arc. So it's actually related to the other theorems a bit. So if we have a chord, let's say chord, and that was supposed to be a straight line, chord BC, and then tangent with C here, that angle that's formed is going to be half the measure of the intercepted arc. And we notice the arc that this angle is intercepted is this guy right here. So for our first example, the measure of angle C is going to be half the arc BC, half the measure. And then if it goes the other way, so we can look at it the other way. So let's say we have arc BC here, and then we have tangent that also contains C, so a line there. And we have a point on this arc D. I know that this angle C is going to be half the arc here, because that's what arc it cuts it off, because that's where kind of this opens. So that's going to mean that the measure of angle C is going to be half the measure of arc BDC. So it's actually following the same thing. Angle is half the intercepted arc. Now we just got a special case because we have a tangent and a chord rather than two chords intersecting. For our example, we have SR. The line SR is tangent to the circle at Q. So we've got SR. And then the measure of arc PMQ. So I'm going to follow that. PMQ, this guy, it's 212. What's the measure of angle PQR? So angle PQR. So we're going to find some info following the lines that the angle, we just got to keep that in mind, is always half the arc, even with arc tangents there. So if the angle is half the arc, we can first find the measure of this guy, because this arc, PMQ, is related to this angle. So the measure of angle PQS, this guy, is going to be half the arc. So it's half 212. And that's going to be 106. So we've got 106 here. One thing I notice is that we have a straight line here. That means that we have a measure of 180 for both of these angles altogether. So the measure of angle PQR is going to be 180 minus 106. And it's going to be 74 degrees. And that is an R right there, PQR. So we are using that we have a straight angle and that the sum of those two angles here was going to be 180.